It is time for the Red Zone here on Shan and RJ on 105.3 The Fan. No Shan Shariff today. I assume he'll be back tomorrow, but maybe not. Who knows? We'll see. We're all just playing it by ear as he deals with the streptococcus throat. That's what it is called. That is the name of the condition. They just shorten it to strep. Chop. We got RJ Choppy here. I'm Bobby Belt. That's Peyton Russell. KNC Masterpiece will be in here in about 20 minutes to crosstalk and finish up the rest of Ask Reddit. But before we even get into the Red Zone, before we let RJ Choppy unleash all of his angry feelings about George Pickens' trade value, we want to start off in a nice way and give you some Shabuzi tickets.
Here comes the 2 to the 3 to the...
All right, Tolos, that's right now. Call number 10 at 877-881-1053 wins a pair of tickets to see Shabuzi at the Southside Ballroom in Dallas on Saturday, September 12th. That's call number 10 at 877-881-1053.
All right. It is time for the Red Zone, and we are going to take a look at yesterday. There was two big announcements in the NFL. You had the Myles Garrett trade, which really came out of nowhere, it felt like.
Yeah.
Now, I know there was Tony Grossi or somebody was saying, oh, this thing's been done for months or something like that.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. That seems odd that it would be that quiet. But then again, I mean,
Didn't
the Rams
Glazer say something like that too.
The Rams surprised everybody with the Ty Simpson pick, so maybe they know how to keep a secret. But Myles Garrett has been traded to the Los Angeles Rams in exchange for Jared Verse and 3 picks. You heard that news broken right here on 105.3 The Fan during the KNC Masterpiece, and a little bit later on the G-Bag Nation, you heard the news broken that the A.J. Brown trade had finally gone through. He was traded to the Patriots for a 2028, not 27, a 2028 first-round pick and a 2027 fifth-round pick, and this upset RJ Choppy.
Well, it did, and I'll tell you why. I keep hearing that we can't get anything. Well, where's the deal for George Pickens?
Mm-hmm.
What's the compensation for him? You know, Sean, the king of compensation, the cock.
Mm-hmm.
You know what?
That's what that stands for, king of compensation.
Yep. How does George Pickens not get you a 1 and a 5?
Explain before I answer and before I just position devil's advocate the other side.
Sure.
Why? Because you're saying, how does he not? How does he? Well, like you're clearly drawing a parallel to A.J. Brown as a player.
Well, for one, he's better than A.J. Brown. Okay. At every juncture, he's better than A.J.
The last 4 years would not say that, so I will say that.
There is no situation where you could say A.J. Brown is, in fact, better than George Pickens. None. There is not a team that would start A.J. Brown over George Pickens. Not a single team in the NFL.
Wow.
There's not. And he's older. A lot older.
He is.
The Philadelphia Eagles traded a 1 and a 3. Rented A.J. Brown for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And traded him for a 1 and a 5, which means they basically paid a fifth round, the difference between a third and a fifth for him.
Yep.
That's what they paid. That's it. They paid the difference in that for him. That is such remarkable. That is so sexy GMing.
Yeah. If you missed it earlier this morning, Chop was literally talking about his jeans tightening over this.
Yeah, and I'm not even wearing any jeans. That is so sexy of a GM to be able to pull that off, to be able to trade a 1 and a 3, and then 5 years later get a 1 and a 5 back.
So A.J. Brown, in a way, kind of was George Pickens when he got traded initially. Not totally.
Like a pain in the butt?
But he was considered like he might be a little, like he was high upside, but he was considered he might be a little bit of a moody personality. And honestly, 1 and a 3, that may have been too low of value at the time. I don't know. It just depends on how you view it. But he is, if you want to just look at those two through the first 4 years of their careers, Chop, it's not close. It is A.J.
Not last year. And last year is all I could go by because that's the only year he's had a quarterback.
A.J. didn't have one last year.
Well, I mean, he's had. Okay, fine. But here, I want you to tell you that. I want to tell you this. A.J. Brown.
Yes. And George Pickens is great. I just think you're way underselling what A.J. Brown is.
A.J. Brown was in Tennessee They knew he was moody. He goes to Philly. He proves his moodiness. He destroys the locker room.
Okay, I don't know that that's fair because early on he was considered strong teammate, and I think the crux of the criticism for Brown has not been that you started the dissension in the locker room. It's you let people know it was happening. So like there's a difference I think between you're not the cause of it, but you're the cause of people knowing about it now.
Okay,
wouldn't you say there's a distinction there?
There's a distinction. But I think the best locker rooms don't ever let you find out there's a distinction.
That's fair. That's fine.
Right.
And the Cowboys, if there were problems with George Pickens last year that really concerned them, they did a good job then keeping that down.
But at the very least, you could say the guy's moody. He had questions about it. It was kind of proven in Philadelphia. He had a terrible relationship, it seems like, with a guy who was his close friend. It hurts.
Yeah. So can I?
And then they ship him off, and you mean to tell me that the Cowboys can't get a 1?
Okay. So
I would say that the Cowboys are doing a very bad job of creating a market.
That's
for George
That's
Pickens.
exactly what I was about to ask you. So are you saying this is on?
I think it's the Cowboys.
Is your complaint here that it's on the Cowboys rather than you're complaining about NFL teams not valuing him properly and offering?
Yeah,
that?
I'm saying the Cowboys are doing a bad job of creating a market.
We've heard, it's been reported that they were gauging their own trade market. So why, like them going out there and looking for it, why don't you think they were able to come to it or find it?
I think Howie's just better. I think if Howie Roseman was the GM here, they would get a 1 and a 3 for George Pickens, or a 1 and a whatever.
Ooh. I think, look, I still think, and you were right on Twitter yesterday, whoever predicted this. My thought is they probably still get a second that can become a first. Because he was out there, he was available, you could have gotten a first for him. But you probably could have negotiated that with Dallas, and nobody did. And so that tells me that's just not where people want to pay him, right? There's just, it's a little bit like the Brandon Aubrey discussion. Remember how, when we've talked about the Brandon Aubrey thing, I've said he's worth every penny and I don't want to pay it. He's worth it. That is his value. I don't want to pay it. I think a lot of teams would say, yeah, George Pickens, what he's done in the last year, that is worth a first-round pick. I'm not paying a first-round pick for it, though, because I have too many questions. So I would pay a second for it, but I don't want to pay market price for it. There's just too many people that have nitpicked. That's why I think if he goes through another year like he did last year, then the questions are gone and people will do whatever. They'll be like, all right, we saw it back-to-back years. We see some consistency.
I understand. that there's a hesitancy. I totally get it.
Can we talk about somebody who absolutely has not grown up and absolutely has not learned a lesson, since we're talking about learning lessons and growth and all those different things? I think I'm going to nominate Andy Reid for Worst Take on Friday. The Chiefs are, to me, they don't get enough hell for being one of the most tone-deaf organizations in sports. Would you say they're high up there?
They're very high up there.
They will.
What they have done with Rashee Rice is.
They downplay scandals. They step in it PR-wise with Rashee Rice or Britt Reed or whoever else. They always have these issues crop up, and then they play them horribly. But for some reason, nobody thinks of them that way. It doesn't feel like in the national
They're
conversation.
A cute little small market, man.
So Rashee Rice has gotten in trouble. How many times would it feel like over the last year or two? 5?
Seems it.
Some level of it. And most recently, he got in trouble for he's going to jail for 30 days because he popped on a marijuana test while he was on probation. So Andy Reid was asked about this and asked about what all's going on with Rashee Rice and everything like that. And he said, we're aware of the situation and we've talked to the league. There's been no talk about anything further as far as possible punishment from the NFL. We're moving forward. When he gets back, we've got to get him caught up and doing what he needs to do. Okay, no problem there. It's not an easy thing he's going through. Life lessons are important, but we're all given chances to learn. He's in that position now. Now?
Just now?
Now is his opportunity to learn?
What have they been doing for the last 2 years?
They are such a blind organization.
They're stupid, man. They're dumb.
Kansas City is complete. I don't know where that comes from. And look, I know we've had some Hunt family members over here in the studio before to talk about FC Dallas and stuff like that, and we love them. They're very kind. I don't know what's going on with Andy Reid, and then what's going on with Brett Veach, and whatever happens with their organizational messaging, whoever's coming up with that, and allowing the Rashee Rice stuff to be talked about the way it has for a year is nuts. I cannot believe you would position that as it's not easy for him to go through this. That's hard, and life lessons are hard. But now he has a chance to learn a life lesson. No, this wasn't it. The chance to learn the life lesson was the 5 times ago. Andy, that's an insane quote. And I get sometimes you're talking off the cuff and things read worse than when you hear them. So maybe that could be one of them. 1,000%. But when you're talking about him, you need to have your comments prepared and ready. You need to know what you want to say and not talk off the cuff if that's the case, because that's an awful message, and I think it's ridiculous, and Andy Reid's going to be nominated for worst take over it.
Oh, baby.
All right. That does it for the Red Zone. RJ Choppy has sufficiently cooled down from his George Pickens ire. We got the KNC Masterpiece coming up next, Crosstalk, and we're going to get into a little bit of extra Ask Reddit with them. That's next here on Shan and RJ on 105.3 The Fan.